right. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Talia from the Massachusetts Health Connector, and I will be facilitating today's session as well as presenting. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Nelson and Nina, who are here to help me answer any questions you might have. I would like to take a moment to thank our chambers, business organizations, and brokers across the state for their support in promoting these webinars. Before we get started, just some information about our presentation format. Everyone's audio has been muted and video has been disabled. The presentation portion will last approximately 30 to 45 minutes. Then we'll have time for a question and answer period at the end. If you would like to ask a question at any time, please use the question and answer functionality, and we will be monitoring the questions throughout. Please do not disclose any personal information or protected health information when you ask your question. We will not be able to answer those questions in full detail on the webinar. If you have any specific personal scenarios that you would like to discuss with someone, we will be providing contact information for the Health Connectors customer service centers and instructions on how to find free help from a local broker or navigator. We are recording today's webinar. Following today's presentation, you'll receive an email with the presentation, so there's no need to take detailed notes. Thank you for joining us, and we'll get started on the presentation now. Okay. So our presentation today will mostly be focused on Health Connector for Business, where we'll go over savings through comparison shopping, flexible choices, rebates through ConnectWell, as well as small business healthcare tax credits. We'll also go through information on Health Connector for sole proprietors or owner-only businesses. For those of you who are less familiar with the Health Connector, we are the state's health insurance marketplace, and we offer health insurance to individuals, families, and small employers. With the Health Connector for Business, businesses can offer small group coverage to their employees, and Nelson and Nina will go over that in more detail later on in the presentation. For those who are sole proprietors or owner-only businesses, you can get insurance through the individual and family side of the Health Connector. Those who qualify are people who don't get insurance through a job, a spouse's job, partner's job. Those who apply through the individual and family side of the Health Connector might also qualify for some type of savings on their healthcare coverage. And although we won't hit on this too much in this presentation, I just want to mention that in addition to health insurance, we do also provide dental coverage. Okay, so we would briefly like to go over the health plans that are available through the Health Connector. All the health plans listed on the slide are sold through the Health Connector and meet state and federal coverage standards. What that means is that all plans offered by the Health Connector will cover prescription drugs, visits to the doctors, and other regular medical services. Some of our plans include premium tax credits that will help to reduce the cost of monthly premiums. And some of you on the individual and family side might qualify for connector care plans, which also provide assistance paying for your monthly premiums for your healthcare coverage. We also have catastrophic plans available for those under 30 or with a hardship exemption. And as mentioned before, dental plans are also available through the Health Connector. And lastly, we have Health Connector for Business, which provides insurance to small businesses with 50 or less full-time employees. And again, Nina and Nelson will go over that in our presentation. On this slide, you'll see the lead Massachusetts carriers who offer health and dental coverage to Massachusetts residents through the Health Connector. Having multiple carriers on our marketplace will hopefully assist employees and employers to provide the best potential coverage by providing them with as many options as possible. So now I will pass it on to Nelson to talk about Health Connector for Business.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Thalia. I'll walk into some of the features and benefits of coverage to the Health Connector. All right. So our goal is to maximize access and affordability for small employers in Massachusetts. And throughout this presentation, we'll talk about some of the features and benefits through the Health Connector for Business program. Starting with a brief overview here. As Dalia mentioned, we have full participation of all of the carriers in Massachusetts. We have competitive premiums. Small businesses on average save over 20% before any rebates, and we'll talk more about what some of those rebates are. And we have flexible choice models. We'll get into a little bit more details about that. Some plan options that allow employers to fix their prices and employees to find the right plan that meets their needs. We have free assistance from brokers throughout the state who can offer expertise and healthcare enrollment support for employers and employees. We have wellness rebates for employers that allow them to receive up to 15% rebate on their contribution towards their employee premiums, and also allows those employees, once they complete qualified activities, to receive a $100 gift card. And we offer the stability of being a state-based agency who really is here to serve our Massachusetts residents. All right. So talk a little bit about the Health Connector for Plan highlights. We do offer in addition to our standard plans, we have health saving account plans available. So each carrier offers a silver plan. And for context, our plans are oriented around our metallic tiers. So it goes from bronze up to platinum. So bronze, silver, gold, platinum, with bronze being the plans that would have a lower monthly premium, but a higher out-of-pocket expense at the point of service. Things like deductibles and copays would be higher, versus a platinum, which would be a higher monthly premium, but lower out-of-pocket expense. So our silver plans is where each carrier that participates with us would offer a HSA compatible plan. We also understand that small businesses may have employees who may be on one of our border states, so we have access to PPO plans that employers can take advantage of, and employees. Um, and I think we can move on to the next slide. All right. So we offer expansive coverage through our plans, but some of the standard benefits that we want to highlight here listed on this slide, all of our standard benefits, including every plan that's offered on the Health Connector would include these standard benefits: office visits, emergency visits, hospital visits, mental health and substance abuse treatment. I won't go line by line, but we can continue on to the next slide. All right. And then we'll talk a little bit about what employers experience when enrolling through the Health Connector for Business. So small businesses, I mentioned earlier, save over 20% on average by shopping through the Health Connector, and that's before any rebates. And on this slide, we have a breakdown of the average savings by metallic tier, the same metallic tiers that I mentioned a little bit earlier today. Again, these roll up to the average of 20% savings. As you can see, our silver plans are the most popular. But collectively, employers and employees save nearly $9 million per year on their premiums by shopping through the Health Connector. And that's by taking advantage of the side-by-side comparison shopping that's made available to the Health Connector. So our shopping experience is structured around allowing individuals to use decision support tools like provider search, but also allowing individuals to do that side-by-side comparison so they could see standard benefits across the different carrier options and plan options that are available to them. Employers experience, continuing to share a little bit more about some of the things we talked about a little bit earlier. Some of the benefits of enrolling through the Health Connector for Business include flexible choice models. So what does this mean? So we will get a little bit more detail into each of these, but at a high level, we have three options available to employers when they're coming to the Health Connected for Business. They can offer one plan model, which is the traditional model where an employer decides on the plan and all the employees enroll in that plan. They can offer one carrier model, and that's where the flexibility comes in, where an employer can pick a carrier and employees can choose across different metallic tiers within that carrier. And then we have the one metal model where the employers can pick a metallic tier as a benchmark, and the employees are allowed to search across different carriers within that metallic tier to find the plan that best meets their needs. And then we also talked about rebates. And again, we'll get into more details about this, but there's rebates specific to the wellness program. There's some employees are eligible for a small business health tax credit that's only available to employers that enroll through a small business health exchange or state-based marketplace, such as the Connector. And there's no fees or membership dues to enroll through the Health Connector. And also, if you elect to use a broker for support, there's no fees associated with that. All right, so we'll get into a little bit more detail about the employee choice models. And at a high level, the employee choice models offer the employer the ability to control their costs, decide what they want to contribute towards their employee premiums, decide what type of choice model they want to offer to their employees. And then depending on the option that they select, the employees have the ability to compare different options and choose a plan that better meets their needs, understanding that there's not always a one size fits all, especially as the employers groups become a little bit larger. You may have diverse needs for your employees in terms of access to different hospital networks or in terms of the level of a plan. Again, going back to the metallic tiers, the level of a plan that may be best suited for them, their employees and their families. So we'll get a little bit more into each of the different plan types that are available. So again, in the one plan model, the employer selects one plan. This is your traditional model, and all of the employees would enroll in that same plan. And then we have the one carrier model where the employer selects one carrier, but the flexibility for the employee is that they're able to go in and pick a different plan within that carrier. So if I'm an employee who needs, maybe I have more chronic conditions and I have regular appointments and prescriptions, I may be an employee who needs a richer plan in more in the platinum level, as opposed to I might have another employee who's a single individual and younger and doesn't have as much medical needs, and they have the freedom to select a bronze plan, for example, in that scenario. And then the one level, again, that's where the employer would select a metallic tier, and the employees have the option to choose across different carriers within that metallic tier to find a plan that best meets their needs in terms of, hospitals or doctors available to them with that carrier, depending on where they live or depending on what types of services they need or doctors they want to see. All right. And then this is just an illustration of that. So what we just talked about. So again, in the one plan model, the employee in this example picks a gold plan for a specific carrier, and all of the employees would enroll in that same plan. Now, again, this is an illustration of the flexible, the choice models, where in a one carrier model, again, if the employer picks in this example, if the employer picks a gold plan with a gold plan as a reference plan or benchmark plan, we call it, within a specific carrier. Now the employees have the option of either shopping up to a platinum or down to a silver, or even a bronze, depending on their needs. And then finally, the last option is the one level. Again, using this example, if the employer chooses a gold reference plan or benchmark plan, um, the employees then get the option to shop across different carriers to find a plan that better meets their needs. All right, then I'm going to hand it off to Nina, who's going to talk us through our ConnectWell program.
Thanks, Nelson. So employers can receive up to 15% rebates on their employer contribution towards their employees' health plans. For a group to be eligible, they must have 1 to 25 enrolled employees, and their employees must participate into the program. So employees can choose up to more than 30 qualifying wellness activities. Um, the average rebate for 2020 was $2,000. And employees can also earn a $100 gift card once they're approved for their wellness activity. There are 3 categories for the wellness program. So there's mind, body, money. And again, employees can pick any one of the activities to participate in and submit for approval. For example, for body, it could be a gym membership. It could be a weight loss program, a bike sharing program. For money, it could be a financial literacy course. And for mind, for example, the employees can participate in a meditation program as well. And here is the process, pretty much a timeline for employees to participate in the wellness program. So when a group is eligible, they're automatically enrolled in the program, and employers and employees will receive an email within 10 days after they're enrolled. Employees will receive an email that pretty much discuss the incentive to participate in the wellness program and how they can participate. And then once the employee completes at least, they only have to complete one activity. Once they complete one activity, they will submit their activity through the website. And when they're approved, they'll receive a $100 e-card. Once the business has met the 33% participation, they become rebate eligible. And at the end of the plan year, the group will receive that rebate. We do allow employees an extra calendar month to submit their activities. So after they renew, employees still have the opportunity to participate in the program. And here's just an example of a business that did receive the rebate.
Okay. All right, so then we'll transition. In addition to the wellness rebate we talked about a little bit earlier, there's a small business healthcare tax credit that's available to some employers. So we'll share a little bit more detail on that. So small business may be eligible for up to 50% tax credit. And there's a caveat here for tax exempt employers that may be eligible for up to 35% tax credit. And there is some criteria here that they would need to meet in order to be eligible for that. And it is a scale of a rebate. It's not a standard dollar amount. It's largely dependent on the size of the employer and the contribution amount. So in order to be eligible, an employer must enroll through a health exchange, state-based exchange. So in Massachusetts, the Health Connector is that, and there's no other entity that an employer can enroll with to be eligible for this program. So if you're enrolled through the Health Connector for Business program in Massachusetts, and you cover at least 50% of the cost towards single coverage for your employees, and you have fewer than 25 FTEs, so this would be your full-time equivalents, not necessarily the total number of employees. And the wages are less than 53,000 a year. This changes every year, so it's actually slightly higher this year. Then the employers could be eligible for a tax credit. Now, what I mentioned about the scale is the highest credit available would be for employers with fewer than 10 employees. who are paid an average of 25,000 or less. So again, the two main factors to be eligible for this, in addition to the enrolling in the Health Connector for Business, would be the size of the employer and the salaries of the employees. And we have some additional information at the bottom of the screen there for IRS resources for anyone who needs additional information. All right. I'll pass it back to Nina to just go an overview of our enrollment timeline.
So here's just a timeline of just the deadlines when employers create an application on our website. So the deadline for employers to pick their plan and publish the plan is the 10th. And then employees will have until the 20th to either enroll or waive into the coverage that's being offered by the employer. And then the next deadline will be the 23rd. Employers must make their binder payment by the 23rd to effectuate coverage on the 1st. And then the coverage will begin the 1st of that month following open enrollment. We also provide access to over 460 certified brokers. It is at no cost to the employer. Brokers will assist you in creating plan options, helping you enroll. They also help you compare plans side by side and help you understand the options that are available to you in your business. They also help you manage the enrollment process. So throughout open enrollment, they'll help you assist you with getting your employees enrolled or waived. And then employers can help you determine the cost. Brokers do have access to quoting tools, so they can help pull quotes so you can decide what is the best option for you and your employees.
Okay, so now we'll transition over to healthcare options for sole proprietors and owner-only businesses. So if you are a sole proprietor or an owner-only business, to get coverage through the Health Connector, you would have to come over to the individual and family side. So the Health Connector is approaching our open enrollment season starting November 1st up until January 23rd. During this time, individuals and families can apply for coverage for 2025, or if you're already a Health Connector member, renew your coverage or shop for a new plan. If you are needing coverage for the remainder of 2024, you can still do that. So for the rest of October, the rest of November and December, you can still apply for coverage. To qualify for coverage through the Health Connector, there are a few requirements. As mentioned, if you are offered insurance through your job or your spouse's or partner's job, you won't qualify for a Health Connector plan. You must be lawfully present in the United States. You must live in the state of Massachusetts, and you can't be enrolled in coverage through Medicare, Mass Health, or other public health coverage. There are a couple things that you'll need to apply for coverage. You'll need your Social Security number, immigration documentation, recent income information, including pay stubs and net income if you are self-employed. And if you're collecting unemployment, you'll need your monetary determination. And if at the time of the application, you don't have all the necessary documents, just submit what you have available, and then the Health Connector will send you a follow-up letter requesting any information that they might need. What do you need to apply? When applying for coverage, it'll be helpful to have the following documents available: your Social Security number for everyone applying, immigration documentations, like I said before, recent pay information, whether that be pay stubs, monetary determination from unemployment, or net income for self-employment. Oh, wait, did I ever read this? I did. I'm so sorry, guys. So if you are getting insurance through the Health Connector, there are two ways that you can receive assistance paying for your coverage, and that is your advanced premium tax credits and the Connector Care the Connector Care program. Both of these options are unique to the Health Connector because we are the state's health insurance marketplace. Advanced premium tax credits help to lower the amount you pay each month for your coverage. And how that works is that the IRS will take those tax credits you are eligible for and send them directly to your insurance company. So if your income fluctuates throughout the year, you might choose to apply some or all of your tax credits, knowing that at the end of the year, when you file for taxes, it might affect how much taxes you receive or if you owe money to the IRS. We also have the Connector Care program that uses state and federal dollars to reduce the amount a consumer pays for insurance. The Connector Care plans have low monthly premiums, low out-of-pocket costs, and no deductibles. And depending on your income and family size, you could choose a plan that's as low as $0 or $264 per month, depending on which plan you select. And I also wanted to mention that eligibility for the Connector Care program has been expanded so that more Massachusetts residents with higher incomes are not eligible for this subsidized coverage. Okay. So we've gone over a lot of information today, and we know that it can be a lot. So we want to make sure that you are aware of free services that are available. We have free broker assistance for the small business side, and for individual and family side, we have customer service available as well as community partner organizations. On the screen, we have our customer service number, which is 1-877-623-6765. And we also have our community partner organizations who have navigators and certified application counselors who speak different languages and are ready to assist individuals with the application, eligibility questions, and any plan details. And you can go on our website and find them. I can show you in a bit if that is needed. And then I will pass it back to Nina to wrap us up.
So these are the reminders and information about shopping and enrolling through the Health Connector. So small business employers and owners that do not qualify to offer coverage through the Health Connector for Business can get coverage through individual and family. You do need to apply, enroll, and pay your first premium by the 23rd before your coverage starts. And then you can also choose to have your coverage start the second month after you enroll. For businesses that do qualify to offer coverage to the Health Connector for Business, again, the deadlines are the 10th to select and publish your health plan. You must have all your full-time eligible employees on your census. You also must provide documentation to confirm that you are eligible to offer coverage through small business. On the 20th is the open enrollment deadline for employees. So employees must create their accounts and enroll or waive with a valid waiver. And then the final deadline is the payment deadline, which is the 23rd. Employers must make their initial binder payment online or over the phone. Online, we do have a payment portal for employers.
Okay, and now we're going to take some questions. Oh. Okay, do the ConnectWell activities cost the employees or employer anything?
No, the ConnectWell program is a free program. So employers and employees do not have to pay for anything.
If the employer has only one employee and the one employee participates, then the rebate will be paid.
Yes, so the minimum participation for ConnectWell is 33%. So you must have at least 33% of your enrolled employees participate in the program. So if you only have one employee and one participates, then you have already met the eligibility requirement for the rebate.
If an employee works remotely from a state other than Massachusetts, will they qualify?
So the group first must be eligible. So the group must have a primary work site here in Massachusetts or a work site serving their employees here in Massachusetts, even if their business is out of state. But if you do have employees out of state that works at your Massachusetts business, yes, they can enroll into coverage. They would just have to find coverage that they can use in their state, which would be the PPO plan.
So in other words, the employer needs to be a valid Massachusetts business. The employees can live in a neighboring state if the PPO plans serve their network, serve their needs.
Are the plans available to employees from the various carriers at a better rates than would be available to them as individuals outside of the Health Connector?
I can take that one. If the plan is identical, it would be an identical premium. So carriers aren't allowed to sell the same plan on or off the exchange for different premiums. However, there may be different structures of the plan that would lead to a difference in the price.
Are there any are any of these customer service options for sole proprietors in person? I can answer this. So yes, we have our navigators and we have our CACs available once you come to the individuals and family side. And you can go on our website and search for assisters using your zip code to see who is closest to you. And they are available to help in person, over the phone, or in some cases online. Can you explain the billing options? List billing versus composite e-billing?
Yeah. There's probably someone better suited to respond to this, but the general difference is billing at the individual level versus the group level. So in the example of composite billing, where every one of the in the one plan option where all the employees would have the same premium, um, because they're all enrolled in the same plan, and it's one premium for each employee, regardless of their individual dynamics like rating factors like age and zip code, whereas the list bill in the flexible options would mean that the employees would be billed on their rating factors individually based on the plan that they select. So if you're an individual, if you're an employee or employer with two employees and you have a choice model, one employee is in Western Mass and one is in Boston, and the Western Mass employee is older, and the rates would be based on the age and zip code of each employee individually.
Okay. Are there drawbacks to an employer not offering health insurance but paying the premiums for an employee's individual plan? Average wages are over 53K, so the tax credit is not a factor.
Yeah, so in that case, the tax credit wouldn't be a factor, but there still would be the benefits of offering health insurance to your employees and potentially being eligible for the wellness rebate. And we've heard from employers that offering health insurance has been, especially for small businesses that we deal with, offering health insurance is a factor in terms of recruiting and retaining qualified candidates in the marketplace, especially when competition with some larger companies, which it would be a standard that they offer the health insurance benefits directly.
How does someone get appointed to sell on the connector?
So I'm assuming this is potentially a broker interested in how to become a certified broker.
Yep, I think so.
All right. We do have some information if someone wants to I'm trying to think if there's a way we can put a link here. But we do have information on our website. If you go to mahealthconnector.org homepage, and at the bottom of the screen, there's a section for Health Connector for Business and specifically a tab for brokers. And if you're interested in becoming a broker, you can submit an email to us And then that would allow us to reach out to you, send some information that you can create an account. You'd have to go through the process of validating your information that you are a licensed broker in Massachusetts. And we would share some training information about our program beyond some of the basics that we covered today. And then you can become certified to serve as a broker in the future.
And I can include that link in the follow-up email that I sent to everyone. Right. How much are family policies? So there's not a direct answer to that because it will depend on your family's incomes and your needs and what plan you select and what you are approved for if you choose to receive help with subsidies. But I do recommend going on our website and using our plan comparison tool. You don't have to have an application or open an application and enter your information. It would just give you a general overview of what you would be eligible for. And I can put that in, well, sorry, I can send that in the email as well, in the follow-up email, that tool. If you live in Rhode Island but work in Massachusetts, are you eligible for coverage for business?
I think that's the same response that we talked about in the first question or one of the earlier questions. So as long as the employer, assuming this is asking about the small business side. So if you're an individual living in Rhode Island seeking individual coverage, you will not be eligible to enroll through the Health Connector. However, if you are an employee who works for a small business employer based in Massachusetts, you would be eligible as long as your employer is eligible and offering that PPO plan to you.
It was my understanding that PPOs are available on the silver level for one level and one carrier. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
What is the 2024 income guidelines? The slideshow had 53K for 2017.
I think this is asking about the tax credit, if I'm not mistaken. We can include that update in the follow-up. I don't want to say the wrong number, but it has increased.
Do you have to be a full-time employee for business coverage?
No. So we only require employers to offer coverage to all full-time W-2 employees, but employers can offer coverage to their part-time employees. The only requirement is that they offer coverage to all part-time employees and not just some.
Can you change the plan as you add employees? For example, can an employer chosen plan transition to one the employees can choose? I'm assuming they're asking about if as they add employees and they change their mind, can they change to a different employee model? Like, can they choose one plan, one level? Can they switch?
Upon,
Go ahead, Nelson, sorry.
I was just going to say, upon renewal, they could elect to change. So yeah, every year upon renewal, that's the opportunity to, change plans, change models, change contribution. At that point, every year, an employer can, reassess and decide what makes the most sense going forward.
And a business offer dental too.
Yes.
Is there a way to get a cost estimate before hiring an individual employee?
Yes, we are able to get a quote without actually enrolling. So employers can get a quote, and this is an area where brokers can be very helpful, and they can run out different scenarios, but that is available to employers.
Do we call a main number to speak to a broker?
No, there's not a call center for brokers. Brokers are independent entities. So we do have a broker directory on our website, and you can pick a broker if you prefer one that's close to you, where your business is, or brokers in today's time they're all comfortable with Zoom and team meetings and things like that. So there are brokers throughout the state that are available. But you would have to work with a broker directly on that piece. There's not like a hotline for brokers per se.
If it is a small business and only one employee needs health insurance, is that allowed?
Yes. Yeah. There is a small caveat. Nina, you can clarify for me if I say this wrong, but um, if you're an employer, your only employee cannot be yourself or your spouse. But if you have a non-employer, non-spouse employee, yes, you can enroll.
Okay. What allows an employee to not enroll in our plan other than being covered by a spouse?
I'm not sure I understand the question. What allows an employee to not enroll in our plan? Oh, meaning like what are the valid waiver reasons for an employee, I'm assuming?
Yes.
You want to take that one?
Being enrolled in Medicare, Medicaid, VA coverage, enrolled in your parents' health insurance, or enrolled in another employer's health insurance. I'm pretty sure those are all the valid waiver reasons.
I'm pretty sure there was a similar question asked, but as a business, can you offer plans to all employees or only to full-time employees? And in that context, is what is considered full-time hours wise? How many hours would be considered full-time?
By the IRS's definition, it would be 30 hours or more, is what's considered full-time. And again, yes, employers can choose to offer coverage to their part-time employees. The only requirement is that you offer coverage to all part-time employees.
Um, Once you offer health insurance, do you need to one, offer to everyone? I think that we did answer that, but if you guys want to repeat that. Two, pay the same amount for everyone. That's the second question. And three, offer health insurance for life of business.
Let me see. We kind of take this in pieces. Once you offer health insurance, do you need to offer it to everyone? No, there is a participation requirement. Nina, correct me if I'm wrong, 75% of your eligible employees would need to enroll.
Um, so you do need to offer coverage to all full-time eligible employees. And then the minimum participation, yes, you have to have at least 75% of your employees enroll or waive the coverage that's being offered. Um,
And as far as the number two, pay the same amount for everyone. Yes, the contribution would be the same for all employees. Now, the difference is that doesn't mean that all employees' premiums will be the same because if an employee in one of the choice models that we talked about, if an employer, say, picks a benchmark plan that's a silver high plan, but they have an employee who buys a platinum plan, and another employee who stays with that benchmark silver high, the premium that each employee is paying is going to be different. So the one who's enrolled in the high plan is going to pay for that difference between the benchmark plan, between the contribution amount that the employer identified for the benchmark plan and the plan that they ultimately selected. So the employee premium is not necessarily the same, but the employer's costs are fixed. And there was a third, offer health insurance for the life of the business. Um, no, this is, completely voluntary. Employers are not locked into anything. This is employers are allowed to enroll and cancel at any point if it's not meeting their needs, or if you no longer have employees, or your employees no longer need coverage because they got coverage elsewhere. Employers are not locked in by any means.
If you change employer during the year or become unemployed or have a qualifying event, can you enroll in a different connector care plan? I'm pretty sure that's a question for me. So yes, if you change employers or become unemployed or have a qualifying life event, yes, you can go on to your application, change your income, report that qualifying life event, and then you can go ahead and select a new plan, or you might um have a change in how much you pay for your premium monthly. So we suggest if that is happening, you go online and you update your application as soon as possible. Are premiums paid via payroll or separately?
The employer will be responsible for collecting the employee contributions, and the employer then would make the payments to the Health Connector for the total that's due for the group. So yes, the employer would collect it via payroll. We don't facilitate payroll for employees, but employers. The employers would collect the employee contribution from their employees via payroll, and the employer would be responsible for making the payment to the Health Connector every month.
Can an employer pay a specific percentage of a premium? So the amounts may be different for individual employees.
Yeah, that's the scenario that we talked about a little bit earlier. So the employer would pick, as part of their setting up the account, the employer would identify the contribution percentage, like what they want to contribute in terms of a percentage. And then they would base that off of their reference plan or their benchmark plan. But again, if the employees pick something that's outside of that reference plan, then the employee would pay the difference. So individual employees may have different premiums, yes.
How does the employer collect from employee for contributions? Can the employee contribute be withheld as an income reduction pre-tax?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I think that might be a better question for a tax professional, but we don't facilitate the payroll piece on behalf of the employer, so I'm not sure that I can answer that.
All right. And the last question I see here, I think it was about the 53K income limit from 2017. I think Nelson said that we were going to include that in the follow-up email just because we don't want to have any incorrect information out there. So we will send that in the follow-up email.
Yeah. It has increased, but we'll confirm the number when we send a follow-up.
All right. I don't see any more questions in the queue. Just give it a second. And if not, we will go ahead and wrap up our presentation here. My brother and myself own the business. We would like to purchase a family policy for our families. We have no employees. So if you would like to purchase health insurance, you would probably come over to the individual and family side and apply that way. Can an employer pay 75% of a premium no matter what plan the employee chooses?
I mean, I'll answer that two ways. The employer can pay up to 100% of the premium. However, it would be tied to the reference plan. So there would always be a difference, or there could be a difference depending on what the individual chooses. But I think that's one that we would work with the employer to figure out the exact scenario, because depending on the number of employees you have and depending on which choice model you pick, it could be uniform or it could be different for each employee.
Okay. And if there's no more questions, we will go ahead and wrap up. So thank you everyone for joining our call today. And thank you to all my colleagues for helping to support today's presentation. From everyone at the Health Connector, be safe and well and have a good day.